Hi guys, welcome back to my page, Kingdom Beauty. I am Tish. I'm here with another video. Trying to figure out what I'm gonna talk about because it's been like 2 weeks. You know what? I'm gonna share personal testimony, evidence that you heard God correctly and obeyed. I don't know how to introduce this video because I literally turned on the camera and just started talking. One of one of the ways that and I think I just did a video about this. One of the ways that you know that you are in alignment with God's will is when you see him providing for it. When you are walking in obedience to what he actually instructed you to do, there is provision that comes with it, and there's a level of favor that you are going to have. So in the other video, I stated that favor is like it's like divine approval for you to get something that most people don't get. We're going to talk about my Houston testimony. So when it was time for me to leave Houston, it was just a lot of things going wrong, just evident that my time there was up. But in hindsight, I think it was evidence that I wasn't supposed to be there at all. Yeah, the Lord told me Houston would be my new home. It didn't mean that I was supposed to move when I did. When it was time for me to leave Houston, I remember I was genuinely confused. I'm like, Lord, do I stay in Houston and keep, suffering for you? Because if I got to suffer more for you, I'll do that. But if it's time for me to go back home to New York, let me know that too. And I'm on the first plane smoking, actually. Like, I don't idolize Houston so much the way I'm going to force myself to be here. Let me know. Please send me back to my comfort. I was genuinely confused. Didn't want to have to leave Houston, but I was more than okay going back home at the same time. So I had asked God to confirm this that same night. And I addressed this a few times before, but that same night, you know, I had a dream that I was on the airplane heading back to New York for a job interview. So, without going into details interpreting that dream, that's how the Lord responded. Mind you, here's the thing to really pay attention to. The whole time I've been in Houston, I have been having dreams about going back to New York. There were constant dreams that I had that I was in the airport, um, trying to get to New York, and the flight, I always either missed it, I was running late, or I was in the airport and would have to turn around because I forgot something, or I was actually on a plane and then had to get off because I forgot something. Each and every dream about me trying to catch a flight to get back to New York led to me not being able to take the flight. I asked God if it was time for me to go back home or do I stay in Houston and suffer a little more. And for the first time ever, I had a dream that I actually successfully made a flight, all goes well, and I actually am in transition to New York for a job interview. So I'm like, okay. In 1 week, I went back home. I came back here to New York. And here's the thing, I heard God correctly because not that he answered me in that dream as confirmation, but I got two other confirmations without even asking for them. Like, I had the dream, I woke up, I was like, oh snap. And then after I woke up, I went to the new job, I took an Uber there. There was confirmation with the Uber driver. And then when I got to the job, there was confirmation at the job that it was like time for me to go. It was crazy. And so the Lord confirms what he instructs you to do. The Lord confirms what he instructs you to do. It's clear. There was no confusion I had about the dream. There was no confusion that I had, about the conversation with the Uber driver. There was definitely no confusion about the situation that happened at the job that I went to. It was clear. The Lord is clear. Even without all the details, the Lord is clear. Not only is the Lord clear, he confirms it. He confirms it more than once, multiple times. It's repetitive. And so I'm like, okay, I heard the Lord correctly. It's time to do this. And I go back to New York. What happened was the timing was good too. So the Lord set you up as he set you up good too when it's him orchestrating it. The timing was good because I would have to break my lease. But this literally just happened to have happened at the end of February. So I was able to leave before March came in. So I didn't owe any March rent because I was not in the apartment in March. I was not there in March. So even the timing was favorable to me. And then the lease, I broke the lease. There's an early termination fee. So, when you break the lease, there's a fee for that. That's equivalent to like 2 months of rent. It was equivalent to like 2 months of rent. And so I'm sitting there like, whatever, the Lord instructed me to do this. I'm not doing this just because I can't take it anymore and just want to go back home. The Lord told me to go back home. And so I was like, you know what? I ain't even finna worry about that. I was like, I'm not going to worry about that. I believe the Lord is going to take care of it because the Lord is the one that's telling me to go back home. You have to understand if the Lord is actually instructing you to do it. That's when faith comes in. But if you're having faith on something that the Lord never actually said, or you're having faith on something that you misinterpreted what the Lord said, because maybe you did hear the Lord say a particular thing, but you interpreted that thing wrong. The Lord gave you a piece of it. He didn't tell you the how, the why. He didn't even tell you when. So maybe you did hear God correctly, but you interpreted his message wrong. Either that or you actually didn't hear him say anything at all. And it was just you talking. I'm like, okay, I believe this is the Lord because he answered me clearly and I got confirmation and repetition. So if I heard the Lord correctly, I have nothing to worry about because this is his instructions. So I think I'll be good on that. This was like 2 years ago almost that I moved from Houston. It was almost 2 years. It's a year and a half ago. A year and a half ago to this day, the building management has not pursued any broken lease fees from me to this day. And it's almost 2 years later. And one time I was like, yo, let me make sure this ain't no sneaky thing. Let me go actually check my credit report because maybe I ain't get no notification of it, but let me go actually see if they put that on my credit. Why check my credit report and there's no debt. There's no report. There's no anything that I owe to that, but nothing is reported on my credit report from them. And I'm like, I really don't owe that. I really don't have to pay for that. I really don't have to worry about that. You know why? Because the Lord was the one speaking when he told me to go back home. Evidence that he took care of that bill. I didn't have to pay. I didn't have to pay any fee because the Lord takes child. The Lord covers the bill when it is his will. And I did not make that rhyme on purpose. When it's the Lord's will, he got the bill. I think Jerry, oh my gosh, Jerry just said something like that. I just heard something like that in a sermon from my church. When God is the one who is really ordering your steps, he's gonna provide for exactly what he asks for. And so it's the fact that the favor was on me for me to be released from any early termination fees. That just goes to show, it was evident that this was God's plan. He got it. He took care of it. And so that was just really just like, this was really a quick little nugget video today. I could have made this a reel, but I just wanted to give a real personal example of how when something is God, he will provide. And there are a plethora of examples I can give. So a lot of times when things are not happening, it's not because it's warfare all the time. A lot of times when things are not happening, it's not because your faith is being tested. A lot of times when things are not happening, it could actually be because we are just wrong about what God said, and because when God really speaks something, he's gonna make provision for what he speaks. He is just gonna do it. And I'm not saying that it's gonna happen perfectly and without obstacles, right? But there's gonna be provision. The Lord is not going to leave you out to dry and to hang. The Lord is also not going to bring you from one place to the other and repeat the same unmet needs. If the Lord is really involved in speaking, there's going to be change. There's going to be provision. But if you're moving around and the same thing is happening, you gotta assess yourself. You gotta assess if you heard God. You really, really do. If the same thing is happening, you have to look at yourself. It's kind of like the quote, or people say, if everyone is telling you the same thing about yourself, then they might be telling the truth. They ain't lying. If you are hearing the same thing about yourself from different people, they might be telling the truth. And I feel like it's similar with our circumstances. If the same issues are following us around to different places, we might be the problem. And so, my encouragement is to look into scripture, see how God operates when he calls biblical figures to do certain things. Read the scriptures before and after, see when God spoke, see how the people responded, see how God responded to their response, see how everything, see what happens. Look at, like, if you got to go through every verse by verse, if you got to go through the scripture verse by verse, have a pen in your hand, highlight every single moment provision came in based on the assignment that God put the people on. Do it for Moses, do it for Abraham, do it for Paul, do it for Esther. Do it for different people who were called on an assignment, and just look at how the provision was there. There is never a place in scripture where God called someone to do something and then he didn't give them provision for it. We have to align our experiences with scripture. We cannot go off of our feelings, our emotions. We can't go off of our own understanding, like Proverbs encourage us not to do. We have to align everything we think God said with with his character we see in scripture. We have to run everything past scripture. Scripture has a final authority. My thing is, that's how you can know when something is God. He's going to give provision, it's going to be favored with it. And so I just wanted to use my own personal example of how he called me to, move back to New York, and I wasn't held liable for any broken, lease fees to this day. And I just think it's evidence that I heard God correctly and made the right decision. And I did not always get it wrong. I did not always get it right. And I talked about that in my last video. And so my encouragement is just to align what you think God said to scripture, and it'll give you confirmation on what might be happening with you. If you don't make the right decision, like if God is showing you that this might not be it, but you are refusing to accept it, I'll just be in prayer for you. I'll just be in prayer for you, because only God can make you see stuff. Only God can break down whatever rebellious, wall that you have built up to where you refuse to let go. But if you hear this video, if you take the step, if you search the scriptures for yourself and you get encouraged and you start building the courage to go, you know what, I really want to have to make this decision, but God, I trust you because it's really looking like you're telling me no with this thing. It's really looking like I'm not supposed to be here. It's really looking like this ain't it for me. So I'm willing to let go, Lord, take control. And if you do that, I am telling you, then you'll see favor that you've been looking for. You think your favor is supposed to be where you are now. And the reason why you probably are not experiencing favor is because you're not even supposed to be there. The favor you've been looking for might be unleashed when you leave the thing that you were supposed to let go of. You'll be surprised. I came back to New York. I got a job where I got a job where the pay was okay. I got to influence my family in a whole nother way. I got to learn stuff about myself that I wouldn't have learned if I was still in Texas. I'm telling you, I'm telling you. And yeah. And I'm saying this gently because I don't want it to be like a bashing thing and then people just turned off. But I'm telling you, I'm saying this for a reason. I've been there. I've been there. Like I've been there. I see what the scriptures say, and I just hope that a heart can be open to receive this, because what you don't want to do is just keep being in denial or something, keep rejecting a different path the Lord is trying to take you on, and refusing to let go of something that you think he said, or maybe a promise that he actually gave, but you trying to go about it in your own way. Right? Sometimes the Lord has to detour you and then bring you back to the promise later. Seriously. That's what happened with the Israelites. They were disobedient in the wilderness, and it took them a lot longer to get to the land of Canaan. The Lord is sovereign, and he chooses to bring about his promises however he chooses. But when we try to make it happen in our own way, in our own time, and all we're going to do is keep delaying it, because disobedience is not going to release anything to us, right? Follow the Lord and trust it. It might not happen in the way that you want it to happen, but his way is best, and you're not even going to care. Once you truly submit to his ways, you're not even going to care about the way that you wanted it to happen. You going to actually be on God's train. Like right now, I'm good on going back to Texas. I know I'm supposed to be there, but right now I'm like, Lord, take your time. If it's going to take time, I'm with it. Make it another 5 years. Like, I want to be in your will, and I want things to happen perfectly. Like, I want it to be your perfect will. Child, that's all I got to say for this video. Nothing too deep. I just wanted to share that. See y'all in the next video.